My ex's new wife bullied our daughter, then her son ruined her birthday. So here's the deal, I'm a 32-year-old woman with a daughter who's 9, almost 10. Her dad, my ex-husband, is 36 now. We didn't exactly have the smoothest divorce when she was just 3, it was pretty rough, actually, but more on that later. Anyway, he moved on fast and married this coworker of his, let's call her Melissa. They have a son who's 6, and my daughter has to deal with him when she's over there. Now, my daughter's always been the quiet type. She'd much rather curl up with a book than run around with a bunch of kids, which is totally fine. I was exactly like that when I was her age. Her dad, on the other hand, is super outgoing and sometimes just doesn't get why she isn't more, social. Melissa is also loud and extroverted, which I think can make my daughter feel a bit uneasy. So, my daughter's birthday is coming up, and we were going over the party details, picking out a cake, sorting the invite list, all that good stuff. Everything was going great until we hit the guest list. Suddenly, she got really quiet, which made me wonder if she was dreading inviting a classmate she didn't gel with or maybe wanted someone I might not be happy about. When I asked what was up, she hesitated but finally let it out, she didn't want to invite Melissa. That threw me for a loop because, while Melissa isn't exactly my favorite person, I thought she and my daughter got along okay, or at least that's what my daughter made it seem like whenever we talked about her dad's place. So, I pressed a bit to find out why, and what she told me made my blood boil. Apparently, Melissa has this habit of making passive-aggressive comments when my ex isn't around or is too busy working. Like, she'll pick up my daughter from dance class and make some snide remark to the other parents, like that's why I prefer boys, girls are all about pink and tutus, right in front of her. Melissa has even called her a brat behind her back, but loud enough for her to hear. Then, there was this time when my daughter couldn't finish her dinner because she wasn't feeling well, and Melissa told her she was high maintenance. And don't even get me started on how she handles the kid conflicts. Melissa always sides with her son. If he breaks my daughter's stuff or calls her names, she's quick with the boys will be boys nonsense, letting him off the hook and punishing my daughter instead. My daughter told me about this time when her half-brother ripped a page out of her favorite book, and Melissa just told her to chill out and made excuses because he's just a little kid. Things got even worse a few weeks ago when my daughter was trying to work on a school project at her dad's house. Her half-brother kept bugging her to play, and when she asked for some quiet time to finish her work, Melissa told her she was being selfish and needed to share. She ended up turning the project in late and got a lower grade because she couldn't concentrate. She was so embarrassed to tell her teacher the real reason that she just said she forgot about it. When I asked what her dad thought about all this, she said he's hardly ever around during these moments. He works from home but is always stuck in his office on calls, so Melissa basically runs the show. My daughter's hesitant to talk to him because she doesn't want to cause any drama for him, which just breaks my heart. Imagine feeling like you have to carry that weight at just 9 years old. After thinking it over, I decided not to force her into inviting someone who makes her feel uncomfortable to her own birthday. It's her day, after all. So I called up my ex to let him know the party details and intended to discuss what our daughter had shared with me. But I didn't even get a chance. I was probably on speakerphone or something because Melissa suddenly started yelling in the background, accusing me of trying to ruin her family and drive a wedge between her and my daughter. My ex jumped on the bandwagon too, accusing me of being petty and using our daughter to get back at them for their relationship. He even brought up some ancient history about a time I didn't invite his mom to a school event because she made some comments about my parenting. But that was totally different. His mom had criticized my parenting skills. So, picture this, we're at a PTA meeting and right there, my ex decides to call me out in front of other parents. As if things weren't awkward enough, the school event was one where each kid could only bring 2 guests. And for the record, yeah, we split up because he straight up told me he was in love with Melissa. He wanted to come clean about it, so that was fun. Turns out, all those late nights at work were actually spent with her. But hey, that was ages ago and I've moved on. Anyway, we were on the phone and the conversation was going nowhere fast. My ex was just backing up Melissa without even considering why our daughter didn't want her around. He texted me later saying I was out of line and that leaving Melissa out would just cause more drama in the family. I shot back that this wasn't about any of us grown-ups, it was about making our daughter feel special on her birthday. That shut him up, and he didn't respond after that. My sister thinks I should just invite Melissa to keep things peaceful, but I feel like that would be betraying my daughter's trust. She finally confided in me about something that's been on her mind, and I want her to know her feelings matter. My best friend's got my back, saying I'm right to stand firm, but she never really liked my ex much, so I don't know if she's biased. Some folks are throwing around questions in the comments, So let me clear a few things up. My daughter has a half-sibling who's 4 years younger than her. She was born in April, and her half-brother was born the following March after the divorce. He's just turned 6. And yes, my ex confessed he was in love with Melissa one night after I had put our daughter to bed. He admitted they kissed at a work event but swore nothing more had happened, though later a friend spilled that they'd been at it for months. We do a 50-50 custody thing, switching weekly from Sunday to Sunday, and it works fine for our daughter. She's got her own room at both houses. My ex has always been a workaholic, even when we were married, so I'm not putting all the blame on Melissa for him not being around. For those curious, yes, I've dated since the split but I'm single at the moment. Update time. I didn't expect this to get so much attention, thanks for all the comments and support. Some of you were pretty tough on my ex, but I understand. A lot suggested I go straight to a lawyer to change custody arrangements, but I wanted to give him a chance to sort things out first. So, a lot's happened since my last update. I asked my ex to meet me for lunch, just the two of us, no Melissa. He agreed, which surprised me. Maybe all the talk about court scared him a bit. We met at this old spot near his office where we used to go when we were married. It felt weird being there again, but whatever. I tried to stay calm and factual, even though I wanted to scream at him for being so clueless. At first, he got all defensive, saying our daughter was probably just overreacting or misunderstood something. He even hinted that maybe I'd coached her into saying stuff, which almost made me throw my drink at him. I laid it out for him. Regardless of any of that, his relationship with his daughter was in serious danger. I asked if he was really willing to risk losing her just to avoid dealing with whatever's going on with Melissa. That seemed to finally break through his thick skull a bit. I gave him a choice: sort things out with Melissa or I'd go back to court for more custody. I didn't want to play the lawyer card, but I'll do whatever it takes for my daughter. He finally started to think things through and promised to talk to Melissa and be more mindful of how she's behaving with our daughter. He also said he'd try to be around more when she's staying at their place instead of always working. I said I'd believe it when I saw it but was willing to give him a chance to make things right before dragging lawyers into it. Then last Friday, when I went to pick up my daughter from his house, I pulled her aside. So, we were catching up and she mentioned that her dad has been really stepping up lately, like, he's actually been spending more time with her. He's been picking her up from school and her activities, helping her with homework, and even playing with her instead of just working all the time, which is kind of cool, right? Anyway, then Melissa came over while my daughter was gathering her stuff. She was being surprisingly nice, which threw me off because she's usually kind of icy towards me. She said she was cool with not going to the party but still wanted to see my daughter blow out her birthday candles. She even baked a cake and asked if it was alright to have a little celebration before we left. I didn't want to make a scene, and since she was trying to be nice, I asked my daughter if she was okay with it. She gave a nod, but I could tell she wasn't super excited about it. So, we all gathered around this cake that Melissa made. It was me, my daughter, Melissa, my ex, and her half-brother. The cake was actually pretty decent and had my daughter's favorite colors on it. I started to think maybe I had things wrong and that everything might be getting better. But, oh boy, was I wrong. Just as my daughter was blowing out the candles, her half-brother thought it'd be hilarious to smash her face into the cake. I kid you not. If he wasn't just 6 years old, I might have lost it. Melissa and her son were laughing while my daughter was in tears, with cake all over her face and hair, and her beloved unicorn headband got broken. Frosting was smeared all over her new sweater, too. It was heartbreaking to see her so humiliated. To top it off, Melissa told my daughter to stop being dramatic and emotional because it was just a joke. I was about to say something when my ex actually stepped in, telling his son what he did wasn't okay. Melissa got defensive, saying he was only playing and that my daughter was just overreacting. We all started arguing, me, Melissa, and my ex. Surprisingly, my ex took my side and told Melissa she should apologize for laughing and dismissing our daughter's feelings. In the middle of this chaos, I realized my daughter had disappeared, so I went to find her. She was in the bathroom, trying to clean cake out of her hair and quietly crying. It broke my heart. I helped her clean up as best as I could, and then we just left. I didn't even say goodbye to my ex or Melissa because I was too angry and knew I might say something I'd regret if I stayed. She was still upset in the car, so we stopped for ice cream to cheer her up. I told her she didn't have to go back to her dad's place for a while if she didn't want to. She asked if that was allowed, and I said we'd figure it out. I didn't want to pressure her with big decisions, but I wanted her to know she had options. The actual birthday party the next day was okay. She invited about 10 kids from her class and a couple from her dance class. Her dad showed up without Melissa or the half-brother, which was probably for the best. He brought a really nice gift. During the party, I took my ex aside and told him I was serious about looking into more custody because of his wife's bullying. I mentioned the cake incident as more proof that Melissa and her son don't respect our daughter's feelings. He didn't argue with me this time, which was a first, and he actually seemed worried. That made me think he might finally be taking this seriously. My daughter seemed to enjoy the party, but I noticed she was quieter than usual. One of her friends asked about the half-brother, and I overheard my daughter saying she didn't want to talk about him. I'm worried about how all this might affect her in the long run. I've been thinking about finding her a therapist to talk to, but I'm not sure if that would make her feel like something's wrong with her. I might ask her pediatrician for advice. So, that's where things stand now. I've started documenting everything, every incident my daughter has mentioned, the cake thing, just everything, just in case I need to go to court eventually. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I want to be prepared. I'll update if there's more to share. Edit. Some people are curious about how my daughter reacted. She's super shy and quiet, and she mostly opens up only to me and her dad. Even then, it's only if you talk to her first, unless it's about something she's really into, like space, unicorns, or her favorite book series. When she gets upset, she doesn't throw tantrums or anything, she just goes completely silent and cries. That's exactly what happened after the cake incident. She just started crying. So, she took off to the bathroom to be by herself, which is just how she deals whenever something's bugging her. Now, some folks think I should have just called out Melissa and her kid right there, and trust me, I wanted to. But making a huge scene would have probably just embarrassed my daughter even more, and she was already pretty shaken up. So I decided to focus on her feelings instead of my own anger at that moment. Just to clear things up, my daughter hasn't been diagnosed with anxiety or depression or anything, though I've occasionally wondered if she might have a bit of social anxiety. She's always been the quiet type, even when she was a little kid. Her teachers have mentioned she's well behaved and does great in class but could speak up more. I don't want her to feel different or slapped with some label, but maybe seeing a therapist isn't such a bad idea. Update 2. Hey everyone, I know a bunch of you are asking for another update, so here it is. Sorry it took a minute, life's been kinda nuts. After the whole cake fiasco, I sat down with my daughter and asked more detailed questions. I needed to know if Melissa or her stepbrother had ever been physical with her or messed with her in any other inappropriate way. She told me no and said the tiffs with her stepbrother are just him being annoying, like hogging the TV remote, messing with her stuff, or making noise when she's trying to read. Classic little brother antics, but still super annoying, especially since Melissa always backs him up. I also asked if anyone else in the family ever made her uncomfortable, and she said no. My ex's parents are actually pretty great with her, they take her out for fun days and never miss her birthday. And my parents? They spoil her like crazy. Since the last update, she's been seeing a child psychiatrist twice a week. I took the advice from a bunch of you and found someone who knows about kids dealing with blended families. My daughter wasn't thrilled about it at first, but she kinda likes it now. They do stuff like art therapy, I think. I'm not really sure because my daughter says their talks are private, but she seems more confident after each visit, so I think it's working. Oh, and I didn't mention this before, but the bullying from Melissa really only started a couple of months ago. Before that, Melissa wasn't super friendly, but she wasn't outright mean either. Around that time, Melissa had a miscarriage, which my ex casually mentioned during a drop-off. Not that it makes her behavior okay, but it might explain the sudden change. Maybe she's taking out her sadness and frustration on my daughter. My daughter's been staying with me mostly. She sees her dad, but they usually hang out somewhere instead of her crashing at his place. Last weekend, they hit up a science museum with a space exhibit. She came home buzzing about black holes and galaxies, which was awesome to see. Honestly, I feel like a lousy mom for not noticing my daughter was struggling. I keep replaying all those times she came back from her dad's and just said things were fine or okay when I asked. I should have dug deeper, noticed her moods more. I'm doing everything I can now to make things right, but I still feel like I let her down. I've been chatting with a lawyer friend just to get some advice on what I can do about custody. Without evidence of abuse, changing things might be tricky. The cake thing shows poor judgment on Melissa's part, but it's not enough on its own. My daughter's input is important, but the court would be cautious about dragging her into adult drama. For now, I'm just collecting info and keeping detailed records in case I need them. Work's been a whirlwind, too. I had to take some time off to deal with this family stuff, and while my boss has been pretty understanding, I can sense he's getting a tad impatient. Balancing being there for my daughter, handling work, and navigating the whole custody thing has been exhausting. Some nights, I just break down after my daughter's asleep because it all feels like too much. Oh, and the other night my ex just showed up at my door at 10 p.m. He called to say he was outside and wanted to chat. I was already in my pajamas at that point. So, I was just about to hit the sack when he showed up at my door. Even though I don't really trust him, I let him in and decided to record our chat. He was cool with it, because I definitely don't want any legal drama, you know? He looked like a mess, like he hadn't slept in forever. He started talking about how he's been overthinking everything since the birthday party. He's been watching Melissa more closely and noticed some stuff he missed before, like how she talks to our daughter, the way she always seems to favor her son, and all those offhand comments that seemed harmless but really weren't. He felt pretty dumb for not catching on sooner. Apparently, he finally told Melissa I'm thinking of going for more custody. And her reaction? She actually said it wasn't the worst idea since she feels like my daughter doesn't fit into their family anyway. That led to a blowout fight between them, with her cursing about me and my daughter. She even called me a sneaky so-and-so who's still hung up on her past affair with my ex. Can you believe it? She went on about my daughter being this spoiled brat who needs straightening out. Then she hit him with an ultimatum. He has to choose who he loves more. Seriously? That's just crazy talk. It's not like he should have to pick between his kid and his wife, they're not even the same kind of relationship. He said that was a wake-up call for him. He left their house, drove around aimlessly, and eventually landed on my doorstep. For now, he's crashing at a friend's place while he figures things out with Melissa. He seemed genuinely torn up about everything, and for the first time in ages, I legit felt bad for him. He kept saying he messed up with our daughter and didn't know how to fix it. We ended up talking for hours about our kid, our rocky history, and what went wrong between us. It wasn't exactly a cozy chat, but it was way less tense than usual. We agreed that our daughter would stay with me during the week and hang out with him on weekends for now. He thought it might be good for them to have some one-on-one time, away from all the chaos with Melissa and her son. I made it super clear that if he gets back with Melissa, I'm definitely going for full custody. But if they split, it'll depend on his setup with his son because I don't want that kid around my daughter after everything that went down. Surprisingly, he was on board with all of this, which kind of shocked me. Maybe he's finally putting our daughter first. Before he left, he asked if I thought Melissa could ever patch things up with our daughter. I told him honestly, it would take a lot of effort and true change from Melissa. She'd have to own up to her mistakes and work hard to be a better stepmom. Plus, I said our daughter might not be ready to forgive her anytime soon, or ever, and he needs to respect that. He agreed. The next day, he texted me at "Thank you for listening" and said he was going to try to set things right. I have no clue what that means, but I guess we'll see. I haven't told our daughter about any of this yet. I don't want her to get her hopes up or feel like she has to deal with grown-up stuff. She seems happy when she's with her dad, and that's what counts right now. So, that's where we're at. My daughter's doing a bit better with therapy, and my ex is living away from Melissa while he sorts everything out. I'm keeping notes on all this and weighing my custody options. Thanks a ton for all the support and advice, it's really helped me feel less alone. I'll let you know if there are any big updates, but for now, my focus